champion is clad in big orange.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
The SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. In the air, left center field. Cross on the move. Walk it there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep range. Come on now. Man, don't connect. Probably trying this time. Indeed. But new hand jam. Down the middle. Got it. On the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football and it's absolute best.
What's up? You're muted.
I am muted, aren't I? I keep doing that during
Come
that
on,
video.
man.
So, hey, welcome in, y'all. It's another episode of the Vol Fanatics Show. You know, took a week off last week, but as we stated on our post, man, we like to have family come first for everything.
That's right.
Last week being Easter, we wanted to do just that, spend time with the families, enjoy the week off. How about you, man? Enjoy your Easter Sunday with the family.
Absolutely. Actually, a little bit different. I took the wife out on the lake. We got the boat out, unwinterized it, which if you're a true boat owner, you know what kind of struggle that is, taking the boat out for the first time of the season. But she fired right up. I was so happy. And so, a lot of stress relief there. And we enjoyed it, man. Had a great Sunday. Baseball team didn't, but that's okay. We did. Man, there's so much news we got to catch up on, man. I mean, like, I don't know where you want to take the show out first, but like we're talking, I mean, obviously the NFL draft just happened. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. We got a massive, I think the biggest recruit in basketball history that we just landed in Nate Ament. I think we're going to talk about that. I mean, there's just so many different directions we can go. Baseball, dare I say a skid that we're on right now, but we're going to break that down as well. Lady Vols, number 1 in the nation. I mean,
and then the only sport that you hadn't talked about, and you see the motion right here that I'm doing. Kim Caldwell's just over there cooking, man.
Oh man,
she is
picking
cooking,
it up, dude.
So everything's moving in the right direction. But before we give the rundown, just want to say, we're going to try to incorporate this in each show now because this is a big thing, something that we've been a part of for over a year now. But we are the official Tennessee member of the College Huddle. And if you saw some of the posts earlier this week, the College Huddle has a new official YouTube channel. And I had the pleasure last week of going on with Eric for the inaugural episode of the College Huddle. Just basically, it's a way that some of the podcast members can get on, talk about their own team, but also talk about other teams where, Skylar and I, we focus on Vol sports on this podcast, obviously the Vol Fanatics Show. But, if we want to go on and talk a little bit of SEC in general, talk some Big Ten football, something like that, hey, we can hop on over with him and talk that on the College Huddle. But we are the official member of the College Huddle. We're sitting at, I believe it's over 80 podcasts strong now in the College Huddle. So make sure that you check out that YouTube page there. I will leave a link in the YouTube description so you can go give it a subscribe. Some great things happening there. But running out for today, Skylar Mission, we got a lot to talk about. Segment 1, we're just going to give ultimate news for Tennessee. Going to focus on football a lot of stuff happened there. But as Skylar mentioned, some men's and women's basketball news. We'll save the baseball and softball news for when we get to those segments. As segment 2 will be softball. And segment 3, we will hit on baseball. But Skylar, before we get into anything else, do you want to give us our show sponsor?
I'm going to. And before I do that, though, Jade is back, longtime listener. She says, hey, nice to be able to relax and listen again. Congratulations, second place. For anybody that doesn't know, she has just graduated with her LPN license, and she was salutatorian. So I think I said that right. Probably didn't. But anyways, how nice is it to be recognized as second place? Let me tell you, that's crazy. Javon says, you think Joey can hold it down? We'll talk about it.
We'll talk all about that.
We'll talk about it. All right. So before we get into that, I want to let you guys know who our presenting show sponsor is. It is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today, right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Give them a call at 865-272-3387. Again, guys, Chris is not just going to find you the cheapest rate, man. That's kind of the easy stuff. That's low-hanging fruit. What he's going to do is find you the best coverage for the best rate. And also, if things do go south, if you do have to file that claim, he's going to be right there by your side. I mean, the dude will literally give you a cell phone number. You can call him any time of the day. That's just who he is. He wants to take care of you. It's hard to find these days, but Chris, man, you support us, and we appreciate that so much. And Michael, as Jay comes in, she says, yes, first loser. That's what I'm talking about. If you ain't first, you're last. Come on now. Misty Moms is in the chat. She says, hey, how are we doing, chat? Let's fire it up now. How are we doing? Who's all watching? Let me know that you're watching. Before Michael gives us our segment one sponsor, we can talk a little ball.
Yes, our segment one sponsor, it is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. You can contact Jeff Mole at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So, news in general, I've got this titled as football news because that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. But while Skylar and I are talking, anybody watching, go in the comment section, give us your thoughts on how you think Joey Aguilar or Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre, whoever you think the starting quarterback is going to be, how do you think those guys are going to lead Tennessee this year? So that's the biggest news, is Joey Aguilar. So, Skylar, your thoughts, first off, on Joey Aguilar.
Help me out on how to screen share here. I thought I had there. Thank you.
There we go.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not the tech guy. So, yeah, we get the transfer. This is basically a certified trade. Everybody's talked about it, right? Nico goes to UCLA. You know, Joey went to UCLA in the winter from Appalachian State. So he was kind of sitting there like, well, all right, clearly not going to be the starter now. So he hops in the portal, and, you know, I think Josh Heupel and the staff kind of liked what they seen, and obviously the opportunity, right? Joey realizing that it's not like he was seeking a new deal. It just kind of fell in his lap, and he had to do it. And so I love the fact that we went out and got him, mostly because all the other targets we were going after just didn't seem to really, get any traction. I know we went after the Notre Dame backup, which I'm kind of glad that we didn't go after that. And then there's a couple of the names that we were swinging for and just kind of came up short. But in this situation, I felt like it made the most sense, right? Joey Aguilar, I think in 2023 threw for nearly 4,000 yards. He does have an interception problem, though. Now, one thing that I know for a fact, though, is this kid loves to play some ball.
Yep.
And I feel like he plays with a lot more heart and passion than a lot of other kids do. This guy, before we get too far into it, my initial thought is there's an obvious problem with interceptions. But Josh Heupel, I mean, look at Hendon Hooker. He had a turnover problem at Virginia Tech as well. But, no quarterback that really plays for Josh Heupel tends to be reckless with the football. So I think if Josh Heupel can get that out of him, I think he will be really the starter coming in the fall. Like right now, I feel like it's an even, competition. But if Josh can get this guy to catch onto the offense and take care of the ball, I think you're looking at your next starter for the fall.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, the way I feel about this pickup here is this is exactly what I said Tennessee needed. If you remember, whenever Nico first hit the portal, I said, where does Tennessee need to go from here as far as the transfer portal? Because we knew Josh Heupel was going to the portal. You needed depth. And I said, what Tennessee needs to do is go out and get an experienced guy, check mark number 1 for Joey Aguilar, a guy that has had success at either the group of 5 level or the lower power 5 level. Check number 2. Also a guy that only has 1 year of eligibility, does not have multiple years of eligibility to use at Tennessee. Check mark number 3 there. Because if you get a guy that's got multiple years of eligibility, when you've got guys like Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre, and then in next year's recruiting class, Fajon Brandon sitting there, somebody or multiple somebodies is going to transfer out. And then you've got to deal with trying to build that depth up all over again. So whether it is Joey Aguilar in the fall, and that's not a guarantee. So the last check mark I have is you cannot, or whoever comes in, they cannot be guaranteed that starting spot.
Right.
That's check mark number 4. Joey Aguilar knows he's got to fight for this spot, and he's going to do that. I do think that come the fall, he is going to be your starter, but I think Merklinger and McIntyre are going to make sure that it's not going to be just a runaway competition. They're going to give it everything they have and make Josh Heupel think about it.
Well, here's what I like about it. You know, if let's say Joey's not the starter, do you now feel that much more confident about GMAC and Jake? I mean, because that proves at that point that they beat Joey, who's got 4 or 5 years experience, 4 years experience, and you're talking about a true freshman and a redshirt freshman that beat him out. Now you can say maybe he had a bad camp or maybe he didn't catch on that quick, but me in my mind that makes me feel even more confident in the young guys that I think are just equally as talented. I mean, people want to sit there and think that our quarterback room is super young, and they are, right? Before Joey at least, but you realize that like Jake Merklinger is the exact same age Nico was when he took over last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I do think for the sake of the quarterback room, I mean, you mentioned like, hey, last week, 2 weeks ago, if we go out and get another quarterback, what's that going to do to the room? Well, I think Josh Heupel being as transparent as possible, letting them know like, hey, we're going to go get a guy, but I'm not promising them anything. And you've seen that in multiple reports. He's not been promised a snap, but he's going to come in, compete, get the quarterback room better, and may the best guy win come fall. Man, I'm excited about this pickup. Like I said, he does have that interception issue, but man, I think when he's on time and on schedule, what people don't realize is, man, this guy had interceptions because he was always having to play from behind a lot,
exactly,
or playing for the win, and almost had to feel like he had to play, play hero ball. But I think playing here will help with that.
And his defense didn't help him any at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Defense, it's kind of like for those that have watched, all right, let's just go with watch Tennessee's 2022 defense. They couldn't stop anybody. That's
right.
How Appalachian State was. So they had to kind of play from behind. They had to make sure that they scored. So he took chances, and it didn't always work out for him. But he's got the skill set. The one thing is that UCLA runs on the quarter system as far as their schools go.
Yep.
So it's a possibility that he will not be on campus able to do anything until June.
That's right.
Because that's when their semester is over with.
Yeah, and that's the same thing for Nico too. So I mean, that worked both ways. Nico can't enroll until after June. So Jeff Mull, man, on Facebook tunes in. It's been a while, man. Appreciate you having you back. Said hopefully GMAC, but makes sense to have a plug so Brandon can play next year. Yeah, Fajon Brandon, the 2026 recruit. I'll be honest with you, I don't really have high hopes of him coming in and playing right away. I think this coaching staff has been very prone to trying their best to make sure that they have that red shirt year, to where one that helps boost the confidence and that transition between high school and college, right? You get those guys to have a taste of what it's like being here for a year, and then they can kind of take over the reins. But I don't know if Fajon's that guy, if he's that dude like we all think he's going to be. Maybe he does beat it out, because Joey will be out of the picture next year. He is a one and done kind of player, and then it'll be back down to the competition. That's what I love about this pickup, man. Next year, you're going to be right where you thought you were going to be anyways, even if Nico stayed, right? So I think it's a big pickup. It's kind of funny how it worked, like a trade almost. But Tennessee came out, I think, better on both ends, and I hate to say that. But I think Jade said, here's the hoping Aguilar is making more at Tennessee than Nico is at UCLA. Honestly, I think after you take out state taxes and all that, I think he probably is, honestly. And Tennessee still saved $1 million. So maybe we can boost up that line.
I was going to say, I haven't seen the deal, but I think wasn't Aguilar's $1.2 million?
That's, reportedly, allegedly. And I think Nico's is right around the same, 1.5 maybe.
Yeah, I think his is 1.5, but like you said, after state taxes and stuff, it's
I was gonna say he moved back to Cali, brother. They got that state income tax. He might net, 800,000 now. Who knows? But this is a big pickup. Honestly, we needed it. In my opinion, we talked about it. Do we need to go pick up a guy? And I said yes. If anything, just to add that competition in the room. And that's exactly what Josh Heupel did. Was expected. And he got a little moxie to him, man. I like him. I think he knows how to play ball.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So that's the biggest news of the past 2 weeks there. Also had some portal news as we did have a surprise, in my opinion, entry into the portal. Jacoby Thomas decided to enter the transfer portal. What were your thoughts on that one? Because was he not projected, especially with injury to Jerome McCoy and then some other early entries into the transfer portal? Was he not projected as a starter coming into the season?
I think he was definitely going to see some time. But I think this is again, we see a lot more. But I think this is more of like a money move. God, what is it? What is the word? Negotiation type tactic.
So you think he'll be back then?
I think he'll be back. I don't know for certain, and I haven't heard. This is completely a gut reaction. I think this is a negotiation tactic, kind of like Dylan Sampson pulled a couple years ago. You see it more and more, especially when a guy knows he's going to be a key player. But I've heard through the rumblings that I think he's going to be coming back, just try to land a bigger deal. And it is what it is. I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of it or a fan of it, but I'm not going to blame a kid for feeling like he needs to go get that bag. So, as long as he's not blindsiding his team or holding out or anything like that. So, anyways, no, Jacoby Thomas, that is a surprise. There was another one that you didn't even mention, unless it wasn't breaking news. But did we talk about Larry Johnson?
So we did not get to talk about it because that happened sometime last week, and we did not go live last week. So Larry Johnson, who was a projected starter over 5-star David Sanders, started in the orange and white game, decided to enter the transfer portal. And you told a pretty neat story that you had about him, and this one kind of hit you a little bit harder, didn't it?
A little bit. It's just I knew some folks in the business helping him out. Obviously he wasn't a big time starter. Didn't really have that NIL deal that you're looking for as a player, especially when he had such a significant playing time last year. So hooked him up with a truck. And his NIL agent actually purchased my old truck, my high school truck that I've had my entire life, and I think that he was driving it around all year last year, and which is really cool. Wouldn't want to sell it to anybody else, honestly. And I heard that he landed that NIL deal, so he was no longer driving my truck. He done got the bag and was living life, right? Projected starter, doing his thing, and then next thing you know, he's in the portal. And I don't really know. That hurts a little bit. I liked Larry. I gave him so much love, last year when he was kind of getting dogged on or hated on early in the year, at least when he wasn't playing as well. But he really came into fruition as the season went along, as he got comfortable in that role. And I was there every step of the way cheering him on. I knew so many folks in the corner. And he is officially in the portal. I don't know if this means that David Sanders is that guy and was going to take over that spot, or maybe he just didn't get the deal that he wanted. I don't know, but either way, it is kind of crazy to think that Larry Johnson, who I thought really highly of, still do, honestly, and it's just not going to be with us this fall. So
yeah. And it's funny that you brought it that about Jacoby Thomas. I'm looking now at GoVols 247, and he's actually not listed in the transfer portal. So it could be maybe he's already gotten a deal and withdrew his name from the portal. But my
source was Boo Carter, came out in a article, and he kind of hinted that Jacoby Thomas was staying, and that's what I was like, oh, okay, like we're good.
Gotcha. So. Yeah, the 4 guys. Or sorry, I guess it's 6 overall guys from the spring portal for Tennessee that have entered. Dayton Sneed, who is already at North Carolina. Nico, right, who is at UCLA. And then 4 guys who have yet to find a team. John Slaughter, Christian Charles, both safeties for this team. Does leave a little bit of a depth issue at safety now. So look to see Tennessee kind of go to the portal, maybe pick up a couple of safety pieces to help that depth. And then of course, Larry Johnson and Aiden Bussell interior offensive linemen for the Vols are the 4 that are left in the portal now without a team. So
right on. Well, what else is going on around the biz around Knoxville, K-Town?
Well, we had some Vols get drafted, man.
We did.
We had
hang on, I got you, big dog. Let's screen share this. This is coming from Vols. He is indeed a first rounder. Gotta get that out of the way. James Pierce Jr. going pick 26. Where did he go? Atlanta Falcons? Yeah, he went Atlanta Falcons.
And Atlanta traded up to get him too. So
did.
they liked what they saw with him, ended up trading up to get him. Some people said that it was a big risk for Atlanta because of what they gave up, but they went hard trying to get some defensive pieces, especially some rush pieces. They picked up linebacker earlier in the draft around pick 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then traded up when they saw Pierce was still on the board and was like, hey, let's go ahead and get him because he can really help our defensive line there.
I think what I like about that pick too is like you seen the Atlanta management room or whatever when they made the pick and they were pumped. I mean, they were so excited they got this guy, and they should be. Dude's a ball player, and he's so fast. Like to have a defensive end, edge rusher that, I mean, maybe he does lack a little bit in size, but what he lacks in size, man, he really makes up in speed and strength. And they're going to be proud of this. I mean, this is an every down starter. This is not some guy you have to worry about only playing like third downs or first and second downs because you're worried he's going to get tired. That is not James Pierce at all. Like that dude's an every down starter, and you're going to get the most out of him in the fourth quarter like you would out of the first quarter. I mean, this is a dog. And there was some speculation that he would drop due to the way he handled interviews and such. But I mean, tape don't lie. Like at the end of the day, dude's a ball player, and he's gonna play his heart out for his team. So, I was pretty stoked about that one. The next one,
James Pierce went in the first round, and then Omar Norman Light in the second round.
Is this a surprise?
So I feel like it might have been a little bit of surprise to people outside of Knoxville. They would have seen the name Dylan Sampson or Dante Thornton and be like, yeah, that guy's going to go ahead of Omar Norman Light. But to Vols fans and those around Knoxville that know the team and have watched this dude play for the last 2 seasons, he was tough to deal with on the interior part of that defensive line. He just might not have gotten the credit he deserves because of how often Tennessee rotated their defensive linemen.
Every 3 plays, it looked like Kim Caldwell's team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like.
No, 100%. I thought it was a decent surprise. I thought he'd have been like 3rd or 4th round, but I think it speaks to Rodney Gardner. I mean, just kind of continuing to do his thing, develop these guys, get them into the next level. And although he was late 2nd round, I mean, you look at some of the guys like Omari Thomas is one of those guys that I thought would have went way earlier. In fact, I think he didn't even get drafted. He had to sign as an undrafted free agent. But, there's so many guys on the line, and I think 3 or 4 total from this class ended up going to the NFL to get their opportunity. James Pierce, Omar Norman Light, Amari Thomas, and I might be missing one. But anyways, Elijah Simmons, that's it. Big E. So, this was huge. I'm super proud for my man Omar Norman Light. He had several games where he just kind of took over, and nobody better. 1st round, 2nd round, and by the way, shout out to Vol Scoops for all this content, man. He's on top of it. Didn't get anybody in the 3rd round, but we made up for it in the 4th round as Dante Thornton Jr. Thought he was going to go higher. This is another one of those picks where the team was like amazed that he was still available. Las Vegas Raiders, got to be careful though. We really need to watch Dante Thornton over the summer. We know the Raiders curse with wide receivers. I'm joking, not really. But as long as he keeps his head on straight, I don't see why this guy isn't wide receiver 1 for the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know exactly who the Raiders have out there, but without a doubt, this dude's going to see the field this year. I actually felt like this was about the spot that I thought he would go. I felt like entering into the draft this year, he was about a 5th or 6th round pick. But then when he got to the combine and they saw his 40 time and they saw some of his other numbers.
A 4.38? Is that what he ran?
I believe so.
He was down in the 4.3s, which is insane.
Actually,
that's crazy what happened.
Was he not? Did he not run a 4.3 flat? Is that what it was?
I don't know if he got that. It might have been. I don't know, man. He had a healthy knee. That's all I know. And he proved it. I mean, he was out there balling.
Yeah, so that right there, seeing his 40 times, that bumped him up around. And then he did and said all the right things in the interviews as well. And you see there, 4th round, pick 108 to the Raiders. That's a great pickup out there for Oakland or Las Vegas. I'm sorry.
I love seeing the comments too, man. Like, holy crap, the Raiders finally picked a good receiver in the land of gods and monsters and angel. I mean, like, there's so many good like everybody's supporting it. So, I'm proud of Dante Thornton, man. What a world of difference going from Knoxville to Las Vegas, man. Congratulations, big dog.
Yeah. And then the last one.
This is the one where I was proud. Dylan Sampson going 4th round, pick 126. Just a dog. I mean, come on. Is he going to the Browns? He's a starter, 100%. Like, no, there's not even a question in my mind.
So he's going to the Browns, and after round 1, I was like, okay, the Browns might be turning something around because they had the 2nd overall pick. They traded back, earned some draft capital, ended up picking up a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, one of the two that they needed as a depth piece or a plug-and-play starter or something like that. Made a couple other good picks, ended up getting Dylan Sampson as well. But then you draft 2 quarterbacks.
They've only got like 6 quarterbacks in the room right now. It's fine.
Yeah, look, they got Joe Flacco. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of freaking the movie Replacements. Joe Flacco, who is like 50 years old.
Deshaun Watson, still there.
Still got Deshaun Watson. Who else did they pick up in the offseason? Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Then you drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders.
And I'm wanting to say they have another guy in the room somewhere, but I could be wrong. But either way, it's crazy. Dylan Sampson, though, ain't got to worry about 6 running backs. He is a dog of the room. No matter who's going to be his captain. I don't know, man. The Browns is a movie, bro. Like, it's crazy what they got going on. And it's not even like they got, 6 good quarterbacks. It's like they've got like 3 divas, in my opinion, that are going to be more that are going to be more stories than actual touchdowns scored. It's just we'll see how it goes, but either way, I think Dylan Sampson's going to get that production. So.
But you know what? 2 of the best players on the team were both Vols. You got Cedric Tillman out there, and then now you got Dylan Sampson out there.
Cedric Tillman turned up in the late parts of last season too. Like I'm pretty excited about that. He'll for sure probably be like wide receiver 2. Yep. So no, this is huge. And then I believe I don't know if it doesn't show us, but Elijah Simmons.
I was gonna say I've got those other ones.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me swap over here.
Cut my screen off, big dog.
Yeah, I just got to share mine real quick. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for it. There we go. So, big Omari Thomas is an undrafted free agent to the Saints. So, Saints got them a good one there. Obviously did not get drafted, but I think that when they go through some off-season workouts, he's going to find himself as a rotational piece on that defensive line. I mean, how can you not keep a guy like Omari Thomas off the field?
No, his leadership, I'd say production-wise, he probably had a down year this last year for sure. But, I mean, overall, his IQ of the game, his leadership, his just ball skills. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know how he slipped that far, but either way, he landed with a good group in the Saints, and, he'll ball out. For sure.
Yeah. So you got big Omari Thomas and then big old Elijah Simmons going to the Cardinals as an undrafted free agent. Once again, how can you keep a guy like this off the field? I think he's going to do the exact same thing as Omari Thomas. All season workouts and stuff. It's really going to boost him, and he's going to be a rotational piece on a defensive line.
I mean, he's just such a big kid. I mean, he's so big.
And both of those guys can move too. I mean, it's not like they're slow. There's numerous times that they've gotten out on the perimeter at Tennessee and gotten ball carriers down before they broke out into space.
That's right. So
Elijah Simmons. And then the last one that I have seen that got picked up, let's see. I do not have it here. I thought there was a third one that got picked up. Oh,
there was. It was Willie B.
Yeah.
Willie B. Brooks.
Yeah, Will Brooks. I guess I did not save that on this page here. But yeah, Will Brooks was picked up by, was it Kansas City?
I think so. Yeah. I was trying to figure out who it was, but yeah, Kansas City picked up Will Brooks, and
Kansas City.
huge,
So,
man. That's crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever, but huge. Draft, obviously, that's a big deal. And there's still going to be some folks get signed. All right, those guys were just signed immediately after the draft. Kind of like, oh my God, they're available. Let's go after them real quick. Just big for Josh Heupel, the coaching staff, to continue to use that toward recruiting. He's consistently putting 4 or 5, 6 guys in the NFL every year. That's huge, considering you got a draft class. Your recruiting class is 20, 25 strong, and if you can tell them, like, dude, I can put a quarter of y'all in the NFL, like 100%. That's huge. So I don't know. Big for Tennessee, big showing for Tennessee, and just excited for the upcoming year, man. Time to go back to work.
Yeah. So before we move on from the news here, let's move over to the hardwood for a couple of things. First, I want to hit Lady Vols first.
Let's do it.
Listen to this roster going into next season for Kim Caldwell at the moment.
17 McDonald's All-Americans. And
close to it, man. So returners from last year's team, you have got Talasia Cooper, who averaged 16.6 points a game.
Huge.
Z Spearman, 11.7 points a game. And Ruby Whitehorn, 11.6 points per game.
Huge. All three of those players probably one of your top 3 scorers.
Then you've got Alyssa Latham. She only averaged 3.9 points a game, but, man, she really came on down the stretch. Those are the 4 returners that were already on the roster. Out of the transfer portal so far, you got Nia Robertson from SMU, who averaged 18.5 points a game last year. Huge pickup. Janiah Barker, 7.4 points a game and 6 rebounds out at UCLA last year. And then just this past week, they picked up LSU transfer Jersey Wolfenbarger, who averaged 4.6 points and 3.4 rebounds this season. And of all those players right there, 4 of those players were ranked in the top 50 in the 2022 recruiting class. Those being Talasia Cooper, Z Spearman, Ruby Whitehorn, and Janiah Barker. That's huge. All right. But listen, it gets even better.
I know.
Listen to the ones coming in this year's recruiting class.
High school.
Yes. High school seniors coming in next season. There will be incoming freshmen, all of which are ranked in the top 60 in the nation.
All.
Mia Paldo, number 9 in the class. Denia Prawl, number 17 in the class. Jada Civil, number 20 in the class. Lauren Hurst, number 45, and Maya Paldo, number 57.
Is that 3 5-stars? 3 out of 5?
I think one was a very, very high 4-star. But
okay, I was just thinking when you said top 20, that's kind of where my cutoff was for 5 stars, so I didn't know.
Yeah, the top 3 there that were in the top 20, they were all McDonald's All-Americans. So, I mean,
good enough for a
basically
5-star
5-star.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's insane.
Kim Caldwell is absolutely cooking right now on the recruiting standpoint for high school and out of the transfer portal. Plus what she's got coming back. This team could be special this year.
I mean, she went to the Sweet 16 with, I'm not going to say the same team as what Kaylee Harper had, but pretty close. I mean, she brought in a few pieces.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see when.
I am super excited for Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols next year. Some unfortunate news for the Lady Vols, but completely understand with what happened here. So Edie Darby has decided to retire from the game of basketball. She
retire.
Yeah, she has some medical issues going on, as you can see here. She does say in the second paragraph, the game has meant so much to me. It shaped me, challenged me, and given me opportunities I will never take for granted. After a lot of prayer and listening to my body, I've made the decision to medically retire from basketball. It's a decision I never thought or wanted to make, but it is rooted in faith and trust in the Lord's plan for what is next. So, unfortunate news, but really, I understand where she's coming from with this. You know, when your body says that it's time, it's time. So, Edie Darby has decided to step away from the game of basketball.
Wish her all the best, man. Wish her all the best. Let's see. Let's go to the men's hardwood.
All right, men's hardwood. Let me pull your screen back up.
Oh, my screen? Okay, I got you, big dog. 5-star recruit Nate Ament has committed to Tennessee. For y'all that don't know, this guy I think was like the number 3 guy in the class, and also Tennessee's highest rated recruit I think ever for basketball. So all those talks about Rick Barnes hanging it up, dude, you can shut the heck up, dude. Honestly, like this dude's cooking just about as good as Kim Caldwell is. If we're being honest here, the transfers he's been picking up, Gillespie, several others, but then picking up this kid out of high school. I mean, come on. Not to mention, you said it in a TikTok last week. Not a complete foregone conclusion that Jordan Gainey can't come back. Zakai Aguilar can't come back.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least. But it's funny how they haven't posted their farewells yet on Instagram or, whatever. Maybe there's a reason why. Who knows? Dude, tell me about it. If Jordan Gainey and ZZ could come back on top of all the pieces they've been adding, we've got some of the biggest bigs you could ask for, and they're going to be more experienced than ever on top of the guards that we just brought in. I mean, come on, dude. Like, give me all of this, dude. I'm so pumped for the team and for Rick Barnes.
Yeah, so Rick Barnes so far this offseason, out of the high school recruits, he got Nate Ament. You also got guard Troy Henderson. I believe he was either 5-star or very high 4-star. You also got a 4-star Dwayne Brown out of Alabama. I believe he was the Class 5A Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken, National High School Player of the Year in Alabama, something like that. So that's out of the recruiting rankings. And, oh, by the way, they had a meeting with a 5-star who decommitted from UConn 2 weeks ago. Had a meeting with him this past week. Not sure exactly how that went, but that'd be huge if you could get him to go along with this class as well. And then out of the portal, Skylar mentioned it, you got Jacoby Gillespie coming in. You also got Jalen Carey from Vanderbilt. Unfortunately missed out on Rodney Rice as he's decided to transfer to USC, but still time to pick up other guys out of the recruiting rankings and as well as getting guys out of the portal. So both basketball teams just completely reloading. It was speculation that Rick Barnes might retire at the end of the season with Zakai and Jemai and all them. Yeah, no, he's just reloading for next year.
He's locked in. Well, dude, you got any news before we get into baseball and softball?
Let's go ahead and get into to some baseball and softball.
Right on. Well, let's see. I think before we do that, though, I want to let everybody know who our segment 2 sponsor is, and that is P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have the time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Trust the folks at P&L Business Services. To reach out to them, man, it's just go online. Go to pnlbusinessservices.com, and they will get you taken care of. Again, they're located right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and they support the Vol Fanatics Show. Thank you so much for your continued support. All right. We got to talk Lady Vols here, softball first. Of course, it only makes sense that the moment they get ranked number 1, what has to happen, right? What has to happen?
You got to get beat.
Now, I will say this was a very fun game to watch. Clemson's a very good team as well. But the ladies do take it on the chin. 3-4. Carlin Pickens, 9 innings pitched. Just was an extra innings game. But she struck out 8. She did walk 3. Gave up 3 hits, though. I mean, she pitched about as good as you could hope. Just the offense, once again, just not enough in one of her starts, man, as they did lose 3-4.
But see, I actually listened to this game as well, and what ended up being the killer in this game was that 5th inning right there, as all 3 runs that came across the plate were unearned runs.
Yep.
It was bases loaded. I believe it was a ground ball to Pickens. If I'm not mistaken, let's see. Yeah, so it was bases loaded, a ground ball to Pickens that she overthrew at first base, and all 3 runs scored off of that play. The batter ended up making it around the 3rd, and if it wasn't for that, Tennessee probably wins the game. They were up 1-0 at that point, ended up coming back and tying it as Gabby Leach just came up clutch with a 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 6th inning. But then when it got to extras, it was just a defensive and pitching battle that Clemson ended up, pulling out. It was in the top of the ninth inning, there was a foul ball to left field that was caught, and then I believe that's Vieira for Clemson ended up scoring off of. It was a fantastic play at the plate, a great throw that was just barely too late. The girl just got in under the tag, but I mean, great effort from the Lady Vols here. Just unfortunate the way that they dropped this one.
Oh yeah, it was, but I'm not too worried about this, right? Midweek against a non-conference opponent, as long as you're locked in, ready to play. Let's see, was this 2 weeks ago? So who did they play last week?
This was this past week. So 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago it was Auburn, where they ended up getting a sweep against Auburn, and that's how they ended up getting the number one ranking. As I believe Texas A&M, who was number one, they dropped 2 games in their series, which allowed Tennessee to move up to that number one spot.
No, 100%. Right on. Well, what's next on the docket for the Lady Vols? It should be the Ole Miss
Ole
opener,
Miss,
right?
Ole Miss game 1. Took one on the chin here, losing 3-2 to Ole Miss.
It's the only thing that can't happen when you got the number one ranking, bro. That's all I'm saying. It's the only one that it has to happen that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I think that the Lady Vols are going to be fine.
No, for sure. Now, isn't this the game where Carlin started it, but they pulled her after like 2 innings, right?
Yeah, she wasn't pitching that well.
She wasn't. She got in some trouble in the second inning, right? But, man, you got to credit Aaron Newer and
this game, it was just Aaron Newer that came after her.
It was just Aaron Newer?
Yeah.
Dude, she locked them down, bro.
Yeah. Only gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in the final 4 innings of the game.
I mean, she looked like Carlin Pickens when she was on. Like, it's just it's games like this that are so frustrating that the offense just can't come around. I mean, you wait till the 6th inning, you put up 2 runs. That's huge, right? Kenzie Fiedler, just lights out as always, it seems. But I mean, it was only her. She had 3 of the team's 5 hits, and had an RBI as well, and scored the run. So she was, I think, responsible for both the runs that came across in the 6th. So, no, it's just not enough. Not a great way to start the series, but it's all about what you do from there, right? So obviously, Carlin, you got to hope she's rested, right? She didn't pitch much in that first game. So how would she look shaking off that inning where she just really got in some trouble? And the Lady Vols played Ole Miss in game 2, and I believe get a win in a big way, 6-0. That's how you respond, and that's how you put a game away as well. Look at what they did in the top of the 7th. I mean, we're talking it was a 2-0 ball game going into the final inning, and that's where you're a little nervous because you've seen, especially if you're watching baseball at the same time watching this series, you know what happens when you don't capitalize on adding those insurance runs. And Lady Vols did that. They added those insurance runs, scored 6. They didn't make any fielding errors. I mean, just a clean ball game from start to finish. And Carlin Pickens did her thing, right? 7 innings pitched. She did give up 7 hits. I got to give Ole Miss credit. They were seeing the ball pretty well, but 10 strikeouts. Give me all of that, Miss Carlin. That's how you come back after a bad outing. Big game for the Lady Vols. Huge game at the plate as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great way to bounce back, especially after the disappointment in game 1. And then you turn around to the rubber match in today's game. Didn't look so good to start with as Ole Miss hopped up 1-0 in the first inning. But then from there, it was all Lady Vols as they end up pulling out a 7-1 victory. Used 4 different pitchers in this contest, and you ended up with Carlin Pickens coming in and just slamming the door in the final 2 1/3 innings to get the win, 7-1 on the road, and win yet another series. Lady Vols have yet to lose a conference series on the road. Their only series that they lost was actually that kind of, I guess you would say, blooper to Arkansas early in the conference series at home.
And I'd say what helps them with that is that was before they played Oklahoma and Texas, where they were able to kind of overcome that Arkansas series loss, right? Because it's kind of like that "what have you done for me lately" type deal, and Lady Vols are kind of benefiting from, even though they didn't lose to Arkansas, at least it was early in the year, they've been able to kind of show that they've grown from that. And man, why do they keep pitching to Taylor Pannell? Like, I understand she only went 1 for 4, but dude, she had a 3-run home run that really, really started this game. I mean, because at that point they were down 0-1, and she gets the money ball and she sent it over the freaking fence, and it was by a long shot. I mean,
it was a no doubter.
it was a
she knew
no
right
doubt,
away.
and it didn't even look like that strong of a swing, but the way it popped off that bad, you just knew immediately, and that pretty much set sail for the Lady Vols. I mean, they added obviously 4 more runs after that, but man, that was huge. Again, another clean game from the defense, and man, just can't talk enough about the pitching. I love seeing this. That the fact that Carlin Pickens is finally getting help in the circle, I think that's huge, man. I think Lady Vols go as far as they want to, as long as they have Aaron Newer, and the name is slipping on me, and it's making me so mad.
Sage
Who's that other
Marjetko.
Sage? I knew it was an S. Sage Marjetko, man. If they can keep doing their thing, that's going to be huge come time for tournament ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said it a couple weeks ago that the Lady Vols have got to get help from those 2 girls, because Carla Pickens, she can't carry the team by herself. She's got to have help, and they really helped out in a big way in this game. And then, we saw it from Aaron Newer in game 1. Unfortunately, Tennessee didn't get the win, but she really stepped up in that game and kept Ole Miss off the scoreboard for the rest of the game. So if we can get those type of efforts throughout the rest of the season, I think Tennessee's got a chance to do something special in the postseason, because it's just one more SEC series now for the Lady Vols, and now it's tournament time, man.
That's right. And Sophia Nugent had a baller of a weekend as well. Obviously what she does behind the plate, but also bringing that energy to the offense as well. She had a 2 for 3 day at the plate. I want to say she did not have an RBI, but I think she was one of the runs to score. But either way, the leadership that she has and the command that she has with her pitchers and on top of the offense that she's bringing, man, I love to see it. And I wanted to take the time to let her know that she got some recognition, because man, she's been big, and I want people to know that she's been one of the leaders of this team, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, do you have who the Lady Vols are supposed to be playing this weekend?
It is the final series of the year, and I believe it is. Oh no, it's not on this one. Hang on, I do have it. Hold up, next month. Auburn, A&M,
Yeah,
Texas A&M,
Texas A&M,
Texas A&M. Texas A&M. It is here in Knoxville, so Senior Day will probably be the rubber one, game 3, right?
Yeah, Senior Day will probably be game 3 of this weekend. See,
It's the final 3 games, dude.
See, it's gonna be that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Saturday is gonna be Senior Day for the Lady Vols. So
That's right.
Get out there this weekend and watch some Lady Vols softball. Is I believe I heard today they are the number 4 seed if everything was to end today. They
That's
would
crazy.
be the number 4 seed.
That is crazy. Number 1 team in the nation, 4 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Just the way that it worked out, because I believe they've got 7 overall conference losses. Oklahoma and Texas have less, but obviously Tennessee has tiebreakers over them, and they've been playing a little bit better lately than those 2 teams have. By the way, those 2 teams met this weekend, and I think Oklahoma won the series. So, but yeah. So for those that don't know, the SEC tournament this year in softball is going to be set up just like SEC basketball tournament has been, to where
get that double bye, baby.
Top 4 seeds get the double bye. If you are the 5 through the 8 seed, you get 1 bye, and then everybody else plays on game 1. So you want to get that double bye. That way you don't have to play 5 games to get to the conference. Get to the conference title game.
100%. It's very important to be in that double bye position, especially for Tennessee. Although Sage and Aaron Newer have been doing better lately, but you don't want to have to rely on that, right? Where if you're having to play 2 games, which they wouldn't have to play 2 games, but regardless, you don't want to be playing more games than your opponents, right? You want to at least be playing less, so that way less pitching, less fatigue. There's some of those teams that are going to be playing 4 or 5 days in a row. If you get in that top 4 seeds, man, you're only playing at most, man, I think 3 days in a row. So yeah, that's huge. So we'll be seeing. I think the Lady Vols got it. A&M. I mean, I'm hoping they sweep this weekend, honestly, but don't want to count your chickens for the eggs hatch, right?
I mean, it's gonna be a huge matchup this weekend. I stated earlier, LSU, so baseball's playing. Texas A&M was the number 1 team in the nation last week.
Don't care.
Before the Lady Vols,
they just lost the series. They almost got swept too.
Yeah, they almost did. So maybe it's Texas A&M moving in the opposite direction than the Lady Vols are right now. That's what we can hope for. As long as you take 2, though, then that's what we need from this weekend.
That's right.
But
can't lose the series.
No, absolutely not. Would love a sweep, but we'll take 2. So anything else on softball before we move ahead to baseball, man?
Segment 3, brother. Let's get it.
All right. So before we get into that, I will give us our segment 3 sponsor. It is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So, Tennessee baseball. Let's back up to last week real quick before we won't touch very much on it because it was a bad weekend. But last week, unfortunate weekend for the Vols as they hosted Kentucky, and Kentucky came in and took 2 or 3 from Tennessee.
They sure did.
What do you think went wrong last weekend for the Vols?
Honestly, I think Kentucky just they watched video. They watched tape. They knew if they get on base, they could steal left and right because we don't care about race runners. I mean, and truthfully, like I think they had 6 stolen bases in the first 3 innings of one of the ball games, and it was unheard of. And it's almost like Tennessee didn't even make the adjustment to even care. So I think it's just a bad matchup, right? And Kentucky came out with a little bit of fire as they should. Something that I wish we would have came out. I mean, it's Kentucky, guys. I don't understand why we weren't fired up for this. But then again, this is one of those, to go into a long-winded answer here, this is one of those expectations reset moments, right? This is one of those going into the year. I said, look, guys, I don't think this team is going to be doing the same things that we've seen these previous teams do. I think this team is going to be good, but not great, right? And honestly, that's exactly what we are. But when you started the season 20-0,
I was gonna say I want to bring up what you said when we started the season 16 or 20-0. You said this team is going undefeated, no doubt about it. This team's better than last year's team. So
that was a joke, but okay. But yes, so you start 20-0, and then that's kind of a reset moment again, where it's like, okay, this team they do have the juice. They've hit 8 freaking grand slams in 20 games. I mean, they're almost averaging half a grand slam a game. And it's like, okay, this team is it, right? So then you get into conference play and you sweep Florida to start conference play, and it's like, oh, this team is it. There's no doubt about it. They're going to be right there, not even missing a beat. Well, now you're seeing a little bit of fatigue. Maybe, I don't know if it's just maybe the SEC is just really good. I don't know, but this is jumping ahead because we're talking about last week, but this is 3rd series loss of the season, back-to-back series losses. I think the first time under Tony Vitello era. It's been crazy. But, it's one of those things where, okay, now we're right at, I think, where we were going to be. We're right there where I thought we were going to be. Seriously. Yeah. And I think the only thing that kind of blows about it is it almost feels like we're getting colder as we're getting closer to tournament time. Baseball still got 2 or 3 weeks left. It's not time to panic. But against Kentucky, I wish we would have shown a little bit more fire, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they did. They came out. They beat us bad. I mean, 8-2, I think, in game 1. I'm not sure.
Well, we beat them in game 1, 8-2. We did get the one victory against Kentucky.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I swapped it up.
Because that's where Liam Doyle went, what was it, 8 innings?
Berserk.
Like that? Yeah, he was just unbelievable. His only, blip on the stat sheet was a 2-run home run in the 4th inning, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. It's not showing me. Okay, yeah, it is. They beat us 4-1 and then 4-2. No, 4-1 and then. Sorry, I confused. They did beat us 8-2 on Sunday.
Yeah, the Sunday game.
Yeah,
that one was bad. But You know what? Let's move ahead to this week. Even though the weekend wasn't much better, it did start off pretty decent as Tennessee played midweek matchup against Lipscomb and pretty much saw what you needed to in this game. You see there, Andrew Fisher had a heck of a night with a home run and a double en route to a 11-1 run rule victory. And he only pitched 3 pitchers in this one, and Michael Sharman was the second guy, and he was just lights out getting the win. 3 innings there, only gave up 2 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Just a very efficient night for Tennessee, in which they finally debuted the dark mode uniforms for this season. Have not seen them since last year's championship series, but finally brought them back out and got a big win against a in-state opponent,
which has kind of been the Achilles heel for Tennessee lately. Yeah, they came out, they meant business. Good to get the guy, the work in from the guys, and that 7th inning was huge. 6 runs in that 7th to force the run rule at that point. Yeah, I think it was kind of like a walk-off deal too. So that was huge, man. Going into the LSU series, which is a huge series, right? It's 2 of the previous national champions. It's pretty much, I think, 3 and 4 in the SEC standings right now, where we're talking about fighting for that top 4 seed in the tournament where you get that double bye. Yeah. You go into game 1.
Sorry, I'm pulling the graphic up now.
No, you're good. And 8 innings of game 1 was flawless, perfect. Left some opportunities on the bases, sure, but you had them nailed down. Liam Doyle doing his thing, shutting down that offense, but just absolute. I don't know if it was mental or what, but the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th, you go up 3-0. You even add the assurance runs in the 8th and 9th to really kind of feel good about it. But then in the 9th inning, just I don't know, man. You had 2 errors in the field, both came in the 9th. You had the pitching, which I'm really upset about. I don't know. It seemed like we get to a 1-2 count and then throw it right down the middle. And LSU did not miss in the 9th. And they had 6 hits. They got 6 runs. And they walked it off on a 3-run mammoth of a home run, by the way, by that Jones kid. He knocked that one crazy. But I think this is a humbling experience for Tennessee's, Tony Vitello's team, right? You're winning the entire game. Had them shut out the entire game. And the bullpen, in which you felt really uber confident about, especially when Nate Snead came out, right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, lockdown, easy. And Nate Snead got roughed up. I mean, dude was throwing it over the middle of the plate. He would get to a 1-2 count and for some reason throw it right down the middle. And like I said, LSU did not miss, and they got a big game 1 win at home.
Yeah, it was unfortunate the way that this game ended, because you mentioned it. Liam Doyle, he did his thing once again. He only gave up 1 hit, I think, and I think that was in the 6th inning, if I'm not mistaken. He no-hit LSU through, I know for sure, 4 innings, and I think it was through 5 innings that he had no-hit LSU. And that 6th inning gave up his first hit. Dylan Lloyd came in and got the final out of that inning before Nate Snead came in. And you mentioned it, Nate Snead is Mr. Reliable. Right. So you're thinking, okay, no problem at all. Nate Snead's got this. Tennessee's going to go home game 1 victors, and he still didn't do bad. I mean, yeah, he gave up 3 runs, gave up the 6 runs total, but
yeah,
he pitched well in the 7th and in the 8th innings. But that final inning, the 9th inning, got some unfortunate errors on his defense that didn't help him out. And then just the 450-foot blast that was hit to walk it off.
They said that was the second longest home run hit in that stadium.
I don't doubt it. That was it was unbelievable to watch.
I loved when they talked. Hey, hang on. I love that Todd Walker, when they talked about longest home runs, and he brought up Blake Burke's home run against Southern Miss because he had about 479. I love that he brought that up. But anyways, yes, this was a bad night. This wasn't even a bad night. Again, this game got rain delayed by like 3.5 hours. You're playing this game at midnight local time. It was like 1:30 Eastern when this game ended. And I stayed up for it. I didn't even care. I didn't have work the next day, so I was cool with it. But the way this game ended was just gut-wrenching, man. I mean, this is like what you expect to do to other teams, not what happened to you. And that's where I do feel like this team's a little bit more human than the last 2 or 3 teams that we've had, is the fact that they allowed this to even happen. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But you got to credit LSU for staying in it. I think they were hitless. Like you mentioned, they only had 1 hit in the game up until this 9th inning, and they put together just a string of hits, man. String of hits, couple errors as well. Dean Curley, got to be careful, because I really thought that kid was going to be really good this year, but he just played his way to the bench on this game. He is designated hitter now because of the way that 9th inning went. So, and he's not even been hitting that great, in my opinion. He's just not been that guy here lately. I don't know why he's in such of a slump. He just can't seem to break from it. But yeah, just a bad 9th inning in this game, man. On to game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 2 went a lot better. Give me just a second. I'm pulling up the graphic here. I'm actually making the baseball ones on the fly since baseball was still playing as we went live.
That's right. Well, game 2,
yeah.
I can tell you, we did win in a big way. 9-3 yesterday. Sounds a little bit more like it, man. I gotta credit Marcus Phillips, dude.
Man, the dude has been
That was
in
a flawless outing.
Lately.
That was a flawless outing.
Yeah, and he's been in a slump lately. The only gripe that I have about Marcus Phillips is you got to get the walk numbers down a little bit. As you see there in the graphic, he had 4 walks.
He did have 4 walks, but let me tell you what he did that gets overshadowed by the walks, but it shouldn't. He had the top 5 in LSU's lineup go 1 for 13. The top 5 for LSU's lineup, 1 for 13. That's huge. LSU's lineup's not a slouch by any means, man. They got some dogs, man. Between Curiel, who lit us up today, Jones, Dickinson, Milam, bro. And Milam had a good night. I mean, he went 2 for 4, and I think he even had a home run. But regardless, to hold the top 5 of that lineup, 1 for 13, huge, bro. I think he did a great job. He gave his team a chance. Cannon Peoples lighting it up at the plate, 5 RBI, dude. This was good to see from Marcus, because I had started to lose a little bit of confidence in him. I thought, I think he's lost the last 2 or 3 games that he's pitched in, that he started
3.
in. Yeah, he's, so I lost a little bit of confidence in him. I think he lost a little bit of confidence in himself, but not against this team. Not yesterday. He pitched as well as I've ever seen him pitch, and he was lighting it up. He did walk a few, but again, I think the damage control was perfect. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, and I texted you last night after he gave up those back-to-back home runs, and I said, "Man, this is the one thing that I've had against Frank Anderson and Tony Vitello, for that matter, because he is the head coach. They almost leave the guys in too long." And you said, it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen. And, credit to him. He came out of that, finished out that inning, came back in for another inning, actually. Got 2 outs in that one before he brought in Dylan Lloyd.
It helped that we scored 6. I'll say that.
It did. It helped that.
Because he probably wouldn't come back. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have came back, but we scored 6. So, yeah, he came back out.
Yeah,
but,
so, I mean,
to your point, because I understand being frustrated after the back-to-back home runs that he gave up. But the guy through 6 innings had only thrown maybe 80 pitches. I mean, his pitch count was insanely low considering how long he had been out there. And to that point was only 1 hit baseball. And I think what made it a little bit more difficult for this coaching staff to recognize and maybe pull him a little bit sooner is the fact that you seen what happened in game 1 the moment Liam Doyle came out of that game. And it's like, you don't want to do that again, right? So I think they did try to, leave Marcus out there, but I think Marcus kind of deserved it. I think he really worked hard for that inning. And the coaches ask him, when it gets to about the 6th or 7th inning, if they're in that long, they're asking him hey, how you feeling? Do you want the rock? I mean, how comfortable are you? And a lot of times, especially when they're dealing the way he has, he's got the freedom to say, yeah, I'm on another inning. I want another batter or whatever. So I don't know. I did kind of text you. I was a little bit more calm about it. I don't know why I was so calm about it. I think it was because maybe the 7th or the 8th inning. But it was one of those things where I was just like, man, it's just baseball. You don't know when to pull the guy out. It's not like he gave up 3 hits in a row. It's not like he walked back-to-back batters. It was just 2 batters, got the pitch they were looking for. They had an idea at the plate, and they went yah-yah on him. I think one guy was like the first home run of his career or first home run of the year, which was crazy. But, he did settle, and they got out of the inning, and at that time, it kind of stinged because it was 3-2, and it was really tight again. But that's where you just got to really credit the offense picking them up, right? In the 8th inning, doing their thing, getting back out to a big lead. And I love that we made sure that we were up by 6 before we got to the 9th inning again.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure that they couldn't come back from 6 down to get the win. That definitely helped things out. But great win in game 2. Set up the rubber match today for game 3. And
I don't even want to show it. Don't worry about it.
Honestly, I don't really want to show it either. But
I'll say this: AJ Russell got the start.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
I was skeptical the moment I heard that.
Well, see, he's been coming along.
No,
he's been coming along as far as his rehab and stuff.
Throw him in the midweek.
This was about the time that he was supposed to be coming back anyway from his injury. Was around his LSU matchup. Now, he wasn't going to be full strength by this point, but hopefully by the time the tournament rolls around here in a couple of weeks, this is going to be your Sunday starter. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. He will be your Sunday starter. You're going to have Liam Doyle. You're going to have Marcus Phillips. And A.J. Russell is your Sunday starter. And you know what? I think at that point, when it's set in stone, this guy's your Sunday starter, that's when we're going to see Tennessee at their best. I would love for it to be right now. This is when it needs to start hitting their stride. Because right now, after this series this weekend, it's gut check time for Tennessee baseball. This is the point where it's do or die. You got to figure out some things now before you get to the tournament. So, but I do think that by the time he is back in the rotation, throwing at least 5 innings, because if you can get 5 innings from your starter, I'll take that. I'd love to have 6 or 7, but if you can get 5 from your starter, that helps out your bullpen immensely. And when you can start getting that from him, Tennessee's going to be hitting their stride then.
Yep. But for the second game in the 3-game series, Tennessee goes home runless in this game. Meanwhile, LSU hits 3 over the wall as Curiel goes 4 for 4 for LSU with 2 doubles, a home run, 5 RBI. I mean, the dude basically beat you alone. He popped off. LSU just had a big offensive day, but again, my thing about AJ Russell, like if you put him on a pitch count, you only want him going out there for 30, 45 pitches, pitch him in the midweek. Like, don't throw off the rotation. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. You threw off the rotation. The moment you tried to bring in the next guy, you didn't really know who to bring in. And I know that because they literally took him out after 2 pitches. And then you intentionally walk a guy to get the matchup that you wanted. And then it's a 3-run home run. Literally, like that whole sequence right there, I could have stopped watching the game after that and knew that we were going to get blown out because it's things like that really tick me off. Because it's one of those things where if one of my guys get intentionally walked, I want that next guy to hit a home run, right? Because that's kind of like a in your face moment, like, go ahead, walk him. I got another guy. Well, that's exactly what LSU did. They walked the walk and they were able to back it up. It was a little bit chippy of a series. LSU had a lot to play for, and they stood on business, and they took care of it. And I hate that this one got away from us. I hate that our offense just completely went stagnant. I mean, we got some hits here and there, just couldn't string anything together after the first inning. And Christian Walzak, man, he does come in here, says Market Phillips is nasty. Talking about that last game, he did have a baller of a game, but that's about the highlight of the weekend, in my opinion, man. That was about it.
Yeah, that, and then Cannon Peebles showing up and showing out in
Cannon Peebles had a good weekend at the plate for sure. Much needed too, I think, for his confidence. He was, I think, sub 200 or right at 200 of a batting average, man, and he really picked it up. Let me look at here. Let's see.
So how
he's 224 now, but he was right around the 200 range.
Yeah, so how about this for Cannon Peebles? He's batting, as you said, 226 on the season. Peebles is, or 224, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's still got 9 home runs, though.
He
so
does.
It's like when he gets his hits, they're long balls most of the time.
And Ariel almost got his first home run. I mean, like game 2, I think it was game 2, man. We hit like 4 balls to the fence and just would not get over the fence. I'm like, what are we doing, man? But
So can I also say this as a positive for the weekend as far as players on the
no,
team
we lost
goes?
the series. But yes, go ahead.
So Ariel Antigua, even though I think he only had 1 hit on the weekend. Let's see, I'm pulling up today's as well. So yeah, he went hitless today. He got 1 hit in game 1, and he was 0 for 2 in yesterday's game. But I'm sorry, 1 for 2 in yesterday's game. He's starting to see the baseball though.
He
And
is.
he's getting very good contact. Some of these hits are going to start dropping. And that's when I think we're going to see Ariel Antigua at his best, because we, especially after the Friday night game against LSU, Dean Curley's got some stuff he's got to work out on the defensive side. You mentioned he hasn't been hitting as well either, but he's still one of our top home run hitters. He's still dangerous at the plate, but he's got some things he's got to work out. And right now, Ariel Antigua has stepped up and he's taking that shortstop spot. You got Manny Marin that is stepping over to third, and Gavin Keelan's back in the lineup. So right now, I think you've got your 3 best defenders in the infield, plus you add in Andrew Fisher at first. You got your best defense in the field right now. Let Dean Curley hit until he gets whatever he's got to get figured out in the field figured out.
Yeah, I mean, Dean Curley had a better day today. He went 2 for 4. But you know, he dipped below 300. He's sub 300 right now. He's batting a 298. I mean, he's had a bad couple weeks. I mean, he's just not seeing the ball. And hopefully this is a sign of things to change. But you want your leadoff batter to be 350 plus. I mean, he needs to be getting on base. And Dean Curley's just not been doing that lately. But again, you got to set the tone of the game, right? Look at what Christian Moore did last year. And I hate to compare him to that because Christian Moore is one of the greats. But I mean, he would go out there. And I'm not even saying just first inning home run, but like set the tone of the game. And I feel like Dean Curley's we've not had that lately. And I think this team will go as he goes. And as long as we can get a little bit more production from the top, we'll be all right. And, Gavin Keelan, bless his soul, he's been the rock of our offense. He had an 0 for 4 day today. Just didn't feel it. And, he had a couple pop-ups to left field. He'll get on top of it, though. I mean, he's been hitting the ball hard. It's not like he's striking out a lot. But overall, man, it's just a tough weekend. Back-to-back series losses. I don't know in how long, but it's been a while. I mean, Tennessee only lost 1 series in the last 2 or 3 years. So the fact that they've lost back-to-back now, and they've, I think, now lost 3 series in the SEC this year, is kind of exactly like I thought they would be at the beginning of the year. I thought they would be a little bit lesser of a team. I mean, it's hard for me to expect them to just run through the SEC every year, but it just sucks. I wish they did it, I guess, a little bit prettier of a fashion because, man, we've been getting blown out here lately, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it hadn't been fun lately, but you got to bounce back this week as you got Northern Kentucky in the midweek. Try to figure some things out as far as pitching goes, as far as batting goes, stuff like that. Just work on some things that you need to. Then you got a home series against against Auburn this weekend, and Auburn's no slouch, man. Last year they were not very good. Tennessee I think they hit 12 home runs on the weekend last year against Auburn. Auburn's a top 15 team right now. So you're going up against another very good opponent. You really need to take 2 out of 3 at least this weekend. I'd love a sweep.
You need a sweep. You got to make up for some of these series losses, man. You got to get a sweep in there somewhere.
Yeah, I honestly, obviously, I'm not going to just sit here and say we have to get a sweep, but you need one. And this would probably be the weekend to do it.
Look at this guy, Christian Walzak, dude. I mean, look, just some insider information. I'm not saying that I stalk our followers or subscribers, but Christian Walzak, I know, ain't a Tennessee fan. Dare I say he is a Florida fan. But I just really appreciate the fact that he's the thoughts on Bargo, which, by the way, I don't know where he wants me to go with this, but I'm actually pretty happy with Bargo lately. He's been seeing the ball very well. I think he's playing with a little bit of attitude, which is something that I've needed to see out of him. But I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fact that he dropped the ball in the outfield today. That pissed me off. But other than that, I mean, I felt like at the plate he's been playing pretty good, pretty solid ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's over the last couple of weeks he's fell off just a little bit, but up until the Texas A&M series, or it might have even been the Kentucky series. He was our best hitter in
Well, he was
SEC
hot.
play.
Yeah, he was hot though. You can't really, that he was on a streak, Bumbway. He was getting 2 hits a game.
Yeah, so he's cooled off a little bit, but no, Dalton Bargo's solid. I mean, I would definitely, even though you've got Jay Abernathy, who's the fastest dude on the team, that could absolutely play left field, and you'd love to have him in the lineup. Bargo's bat's just a little bit better than Jay Abernathy. I would much rather have him in the lineup than Jay Abernathy on a day-to-day basis. I'm happy with Bargo. He's really stepped it up this year. He's been that piece that we really needed to fill in from last year.
Right on. Yeah, I didn't think about Abernathy playing left field, but with Dean being such a liability in the defense lately, which is crazy to think about, you're already using up the DH opportunity. Like, you could put Jay in left field, have Bargo as a DH, because I mean, Bargo and Reese Chapman were our 2 DHs last year.
Or listen, I wouldn't mind seeing this either. You have, but this also means you take Manny Marin out of the lineup. Yeah, Bargo play third, and you put Jay Abernathy in left. I don't mind that, but I still feel like Manny Marin gets you a little bit more at the plate than Jay Abernathy does. And you still got Dean Curley there DH.
Yeah, and I think Tony V's still kind of messing with the lineup. I mean, you've seen it, moving him from short to third, thinking that would work, and it's just his defense. I mean, that's why Ariel Antigua's out there. It's his defense just that much better. And I don't know. We'll see. Any last thoughts on the baseball field, on the diamond?
Just, you got to figure some things out, man. It's
got to sweep.
I mentioned already, it's gut check time. You got to take a hard look in the mirror, and you got to figure some things out before the series this weekend. If you drop a third series in a row this weekend, there's going to be some unhappy folks. Obviously, nobody's going to be calling for Vitello's job. I mean, dude just won you a national title, for crying out loud. But it's not going to look good as you inch closer to SEC tournament time as well as NCAA tournament time. And you could see yourself fall out of a host position if you're not careful.
I hope not, man. They need to stay in the top 8 for sure. But, well, all right, brother. Well, yeah, appreciate you guys. This is going to wrap it up for the show today. If you're watching, man, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. We just eclipsed 400 on YouTube. We're really proud of that. Trying to get that up to 500 this summer. So if y'all would just do us a favor, like, subscribe, share the show as well. I mean, if you thought that you enjoyed it, if you felt like you got something out of it, we're not insiders. We're just fans, but we like to talk ball. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, whether it was on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or if you're watching later on Spotify, Apple Podcast, however you get us, man. I just really appreciate you. Share the show, get us out there, and leave us a comment. Let us know you're here, because a lot of people watch, and we don't even know that you're watching other than analytics. So, man, I appreciate today. Today's been awesome. I hope y'all had a great Easter last week. And, Michael, you got anything in closing, my boy?
I actually do. I just remembered. So one of our other members of the College Huddle sent me a message this week. It is Tim Cox. He is a South Carolina fan. He is the official South Carolina podcast of the College Huddle. He's got an Etsy page that he kind of tinkers around with, making different things. And he just recently got into doing a couple of Tennessee things. So let me go over to the screen share here. I got to change over to mine. He made this that if anybody is interested in, let's see.
I like that post.
Oh, I got to share the
Crimson is a stupid color.
I'm sorry, I still had my Twitter pulled up. So he made this right here that if anybody is interested in one of these koozies right here, I will leave the link in the YouTube description, and you can go support him on this right here. Check out his Etsy page as well. I hadn't had a chance to do a lot of digging on what he's got, but he did send me this and said if anybody is interested, feel free to go over there and get one of those. He's going to try to make a few things for some different teams, and this is one that he made up for Tennessee.
I like it, and he ain't wrong. I mean, facts is great. I mean, that's good. It's good stuff. But in the meantime, let's keep wishing on our seniors, the Vols, man. Even though the draft's over, may still get some news about some guys getting signed. I'm
Drew McCoy will get signed by somebody. Cooper Mays will get signed by somebody.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, we still got some folks out there that need to get signed, and I think they will get signed. I'm surprised Brew didn't get drafted, man. Just size alone. I think what hurt him there is the injury. Maybe he didn't go all the way. I don't know. Like I think he's going to be a dog. Like, give that man a chance. So Cooper is a little undersized, but I think he makes up for that in IQ and heart. Like, seriously. But it is the NFL. A lot of times they don't really care about heart. But anyways.
So, last thing that I have, obviously not going to go through the schedule, but just off the top of your head real quick. Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre, whoever the quarterback is, what is Tennessee's record this year?
You're doing that to me right now as we're closing. Okay.
8-4. 8-4, 9-3.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I don't think we're 7-5, dude. I think we're better than that.
No, I mean
8-4 would hurt.
I felt like 8-4, 9-3, even with Nico this year.
No,
just because of some of the stuff that we lost.
No, it would have been 10-2 with Nico.
Maybe.
I think we still are 10-2. Honestly,
we'll see. We'll dig into all that.
Y'all keep sleeping on the running back room, dog. Running back room's a dog. Y'all just look. I stand on business with that. Look, y'all think I'm crazy, but in October, y'all be like, damn, running back carrying the game. I'm telling y'all that. Star Thomas. I'm telling you, Peyton Lewis is a dog, bro. He's coming around. And I'm not even going to skip out Bishop, bro. Like, come on, dude. We got a 3-headed monster at the running back room. Like, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah. We'll get into all that later this summer as we're going to give our official predictions later. But let us know if you got any topics you guys want us to cover in our football segment coming up, as we're going to be starting to do baseball, softball, and then a third segment. We got a lot of topics we can do. We can do SEC football hot coaches. We can do hot seat coaches. We can do quarterback rankings in the SEC, whatever. But just let us know what you want us to hit on. But appreciate you all tuning in today. Go Big Orange.
Y'all get it.